I have so much to share with you today. I will show you my mostly completed May planner pages. I will attempt a small watercolor painting of some cake. I will introduce my new digital kit for June called Dreaming of Summer. I will start setting up my planner for June, and finally I have 2 book reviews for you. Welcome to Plan With Me June. It's Barbara from Vienna, Austria. If you have missed how I made this planner, taking out half of the signatures of my previous planner and redistributing these, you can check out that video, which is linked below in the description box. So let me start off by showing you what I've done in my May signature so far. So this we've done together. This is our intro page for May, which I made in the last Plan With Me video. You can find that whole playlist linked below in case you want to see anything that I've done on camera. So that's my monthly overview. Didn't really want to cover this because it's so cute what is written here. I really want to just keep that and be able to read it. This is my 10K step tracker. And look, I'm walking again. I'm so happy. So I started off a little timidly and now I am full on walking. So this is my 10,000 step goal for the day. For those that are not aware, I broke off the tip of my ankle last October. So it's been 6 months. I did not get an operation. The doctor said it should be able to heal on its own, but it's going to take time. He said like 6 to 8 months. So now I'm at 6 months and I've been really good about keeping it calm and up and everything. But now, you know, after 6 months now, I'm like really desperate to walk again. So I've been doing this, but I've been listening to my ankle, trying to see if I can do it. And it seems that I can. I'm still wearing my brace, which I guess I'll do at least for another 2 months, but I can walk and this makes me super happy and motivated. This we've done together in a video. I'm not sure if this was now in the Plan With Me or in a Junk Journal Snacks video. I will check that out. If it's not in the Plan With Me video, then I will link this one for you below. Then a little collage here. I think that was in the same video. I just added some gold splattering because I just had to. On this one, I didn't want to cover up this whole old letter from 1905. So all I did was added a die cut made out of my rusty papers, which I will also link for you below, and some gold splattering. And on the back here, I was inspired by something that I've seen Louisa do in a very recent video, which was actually her design team project using the same kit. She was adding faux Polaroid photos of some of her own artwork into one of her journals. So please check that video out for more inspiration of how to use not only these specific digitals, but other digitals as well. I just got so much inspiration out of it. And so I made this pocket here out of the clip art that I had, and I added this tag with a lace and of course some gold splattering. And I really love how that came out. And then I just added the word yum here with my little label maker. This one I think I did off camera. So I just cut the edge of my planner page and just added some stenciling on this coffee dyed paper and then added my to-dos and my gratitude. This one here, I don't want it to show too much because this is coming up. I think it's this Sunday in a Junk Journal Snacks video. So I will show you how I've done that. This is the week I'm in now when I'm filming this. This little page here is the back side of that letter from 1905. And on the front here, I added some of my grungy rust papers, which I will also link for you below. And I added one of the little pockets from my Paris tea party ephemera, added this little cup here and the name of the sweet that I have a recipe for here. And the reason why I have this is because I actually sent a photo of this to Susanne from Bornhood Art, who is currently working on a journal for her favorite cakes. Also using the same digital, and it's so fun. And she asked whether I wanted to send her a recipe. So I sent her this one, which was actually not what she was looking for because she specifically wanted cakes. And this is a recipe for Ali. If you are Egyptian, you know this. Literally translated, it means Ali's mother. And it's an Egyptian sweet dish, which is, I guess you could very loosely translate it as Egyptian bread pudding. It's very, very yummy. It has a lot of nuts and all sorts of things in it that you want to put in. So I tried to make a watercolor painting of that. It's my first attempt at drawing food like this, and I really, really enjoyed that. So I had the original, and I thought, well, I'm going to just put that in here in my journal because that just works perfectly for the May theme. And then I just put a label here with Ali, the name. Here I just added the page as it was, added some gold splatters and my note cards. So nothing has happened here yet. Again, here I just added the paper as is with some gold splatters and my notes. And I think pretty much same thing here. This again, I'm going to leave as is. Here I added some different paper for the notes. I don't even remember what this was, but I like the way it looks. I added gold splatters to that, and that's all I did for that. And this one was from, I think, my last junk journal snacks, or 2 Sundays ago. I don't remember now. I will link this for you below. This is a postcard from the kit. I embroidered this heart and added this here, added a stamp, and added a French poem on the back. And then I just added this tuck spot here with some lace and another one of those cute clip arts and a real dried flower here with some gold splatters. And then I stamped the background. And while I was working on this page in the video, I answered one of my viewers' questions about what is the difference between living in the US and in Austria. So if you want to hear about that, check that link out below. So since I gave Susanne the wrong recipe, I wrote another one. So this is one for Marillenkuchen, which is German for an apricot cake. This might be my most favorite cake of all. It's hard to say, but I think I love most things which are light and fruity. And I made another watercolor painting of what that would look like from a photo. And I'm super pleased with how this one turned out. I'm astonished at what you can do when you put your mind to it. So I'm going to glue this here first, I think. And I want to add this to my May section as well. This is a cake that my mom used to do and I used to love it. I could just add it as a tip in, of course, as well. This page here is a bit flimsy to add a pocket or anything to. These I didn't want to cover up. And there's no more space. Oh no. So I guess I will just do a tip in. I want to fold it so that I can see this without having to unfold it. So I will just fold this like that. And then that can be here. And then I obviously need to be able to open it and turn it, meaning I need to glue a strip down here. I have some of this paper left over. I can just take a strip from here. I'll ink up these 2 edges. The others already are inked up. Then I'll take a glue stick and then I'll put half of it on the recipe and half here. And then I can just fold it up Yeah, and we can also fold it like this so that we can actually see the whole recipe from both sides. So we have like this, and we can pull it out like this. And we can secure it with a paper clip so that it doesn't keep opening. And I can maybe add a piece of this, which I cut off from a tablecloth. And since I'm enjoying these little illustrations so much at the moment, I'm going to attempt another one. I want to also paint this one here. Doesn't that look absolutely yummy? This is what we would call Zwetschgenfleck, which is a cake with a very thin yeast dough underneath and then obviously some plums on top. It is so, so delicious. Also something my mom used to make. So let's give that a go. For some reason, I like doing these little watercolor paintings in this vintage graph paper notebook that I found in my Goodwill. It has this cream white paper that I like. I have 3 watercolor palettes here. This is a fairly cheap one, Koi watercolors. This is what I used for the other 2 paintings, but I think I might also use this one, which is one I put together myself using Van Gogh and Winsor & Newton paints. And I also have this one, which are White Night paints, and these are, I think, the best quality. These are super, super pigmented and artist grade. So I think I'm just going to mix and match. I think it makes sense to start out with like the basic shape, which is a rectangle in this case. And then I'll start drawing the shapes. So in this case, it's the plums. And then I'll start off with the lightest color for the dough here. Then I'll start with this orangey color here for the plum insides. For the skin, I'm going to add this mixture of purple and black. Then I'm going to add some more color variation inside the plums with this color here. Then I'll add some of this intensive, like pink purple kind of color. I want to make those edges of the skins even more intensive. I just dried this now in between because the colors were just mixing too much. This is going to be very abstract. Then I want to add some air holes into the dough. And then I want this bottom part here to be a little darker because obviously that has more color because that's the part that was on the baking tray. And then I just want to define these shapes a little bit more in the middle, you know, where the seed was. So here's the comparison. I had a lot of fun. I know it's not a masterpiece, but I'm happy with it. I should do one of these a day and see how I improve with time because I really don't know what I'm doing, but it's so much fun. So I will cut this out now. So there's my piece of plum yeast cake. So I want to add this to one of my pages here. I don't have the whole recipe written out, but that's okay. I have that in my recipe book. By the way, I will link Susanne's video as well. She has at least 2, maybe 3 or 4 even, where she's working in her beautiful recipe book. So I will link those below. They are German, but I believe you can see what she's doing if you just want some inspiration. So let's glue this here. Very, very simple. And so that I will recognize this in a few years as well, I'm going to write Zwetschgenfleck. Literally translated, it means plum stain, actually. So Zwetschge is plum. Can you say that? Zwetschge. So I'm going to write this. And in case you're interested in making one of these Zwetschgenflecks, I will link the recipe for you, both in German, and I will try to link the English version. If it doesn't work, maybe this is something that's helpful in general. If ever you come across a website in another language, all you have to do is with the right mouse click, you click on that website and a little window will pop up and one of the options will be translate. For me, it says translate into English. There's probably other defaults, but for me, it says translate into English if I'm on a German website. So that is super handy. So let's move into June now. So June starts here. Let me start off by showing you all the papers in digital form because I don't have all of them printed out. I only have the ones that I'm actually planning on using. So since I already have this one here that goes until June 5th, I don't need this first print here with the week going until June 5th, but I can use this side here for my intro page for June. And I also want to mention my thoughts behind this kit. So some of these backgrounds kind of look like they're not really finished, and you see the flowers are just drawn with the outlines, but there's no colors. The reason why I wanted to call this Dreaming of Summer is because June, at least in the northern hemisphere, is like the beginning of summer. So we see the birds and everything, and we see nature waking up. And here, of course, we have a plant that is in blue, but we don't see it in their bright colors yet because that's coming in summer. So that was my thought behind it. We're still dreaming of summer. It's slowly coming out, but we're not fully there yet. And I think for my July kit, I want to do something with wildflowers. So that will kind of then tie into this whole flow, I think. So I've inked up the edges and cut him the size that I need him to be. No, I didn't cut him. I just cut the paper. No worries. From my notes page, I'm going to take the Hello June. And as you might know, I always like adding a quote for the beginning of the month. So I just Googled dreaming of summer quotes and I found this one that I actually really like, which says, "It was June and the world smelled of roses. The sunshine was like powdered gold over the grassy hillside." And it's by Maud Hart Lovelace. Is that even a real name? Like, could that be a real name? It looks like a made-up name, but it's very cute. The heart should have an E in it, then it would be really cool. Hart Lovelace. What an interesting name. So I want to have this stand out a little bit more, so I want to add a little bit of a background to that. I'm going to look for something from my Rusty Fabric prints because I think the colors are so beautiful together. I think I want this very red orangey one because I think that would look pretty cool behind it. So I'll glue that on first and then tear around that and hope that I won't mess that up. I want a very irregular tear. Yeah, I think that works beautifully. Since I have these lines here from the printable, that inspires me to use some thread underneath this. Just bunch it up and put it underneath so that we can see it. So that really ties in well then. And then I'm going to add the quote in pencil. I'm happy with the simplicity of this page. Next, I want to add my calendar, but what a shame to cover this beauty up. I don't want to do that. I can always leave this empty. I always have more than enough pages. Either that, then I would put it here, and the tracker on the next page. You know, I'd have to leave this one for something else so that I can start the week on a double page. The other option is to add the calendar so that I can still... No, that's weird, huh? No, I'm not going to do that. So I will figure out what to do with this, maybe collaging or something. This is a beautiful print from Honey. So I'll just put the calendar here. I'd like to add something here right away. And I thought, what about using this big tag here from the ephemera sheet? This is ephemera sheet 1. I think this has the perfect size by coincidence. And we could even make that into a tuck spot. So let's start out by cutting this out. Before I cut this round part off, I'm going to mount this on a piece of cardstock for more stability, so that I don't have to cut this part out twice. Okay, let's ink this up with Vintage Photo. But I don't want this background looking so white, so I want to add some stenciling. I'm going to use my Wild Honey, which is hopefully similar to these colors, and I'm going to use my leaf stencil from Action. How do we want this? Oh wow. This top here is a bit plain, so I'm going to add some of this netting that I've dyed. This is from Organic Lemons, and it is a bright yellow when you buy it. And I just dyed this with my Distress Oxides. So I want to add a piece of this. And I could also add one of my little dried flower petals sprinkled with gold. And of course I chose the blue because we have blue here and it goes so well with this color. Okay, now I can glue this down on these two sides. Oh my goodness, my neighbor has been drilling for the past half hour. Don't they understand? I have a video to film. Okay, so what was I going to do? Put my tracker here, I guess. Doesn't really matter. Hopefully this will be pretty filled up by the time you see this. And then I'll add my first full June week here. And the corresponding right-hand side goes here. Then we need to add our to-do list and our gratitude. But I want to add some more color under here, so I'm going to again do the same thing I did before, using that same leaf stencil to add some more color in. And why not add another bird maybe up here? Looking at my clip art, how about this guy here on his little birdhouse? It's actually fairly large. All these clip arts are fairly large because I always figure you can always print them out at a smaller percentage. It's harder to blow them up, but it's always easy to shrink them. So if you want them in a little bigger size for a regular journal or your planner, you have that option. I'm going to put the little guy here. I did ink him up with Vintage Photo. And now I'll glue down these two. One interesting fact you might want to know about these digitals is, if you look closely, you'll see in the backgrounds I have my eco prints. If you want to see how I made these, you can also see that link down below with my eco dyeing experience in case you haven't seen that yet. Very interesting results on some of those. So the best thing I could add to fit with these papers is, of course, these prints. So this is the original, which I'm going to use. I have digital versions as well, so I'm not worried about using this originals. You can find those linked below as well. So many resources for you today. It is not easy to tear this up, let me tell you. You're gonna say I should make a card with it. No, I'm just going to put it in my journal, because that's where they make me happiest, to be honest. Yes. And this is a nice and sturdy card, so it will easily hold this watercolor paper. I think a quote would look really good on this page. This time, let's see if I have one that's already ready-made for me in my little cigar box of quotes. Well, this would work. Make each day magical, because that print is so magical, so that would work. There's some bigger ones, but I don't want to cover up too much, so I don't want anything that's too big. Oh, maybe one on a vellum piece, because then we could still see that through. These are all kind of travel quotes. Yeah, but these don't really relate to anything. I mean, nothing that I'm doing for this month, so that doesn't really work. Stay wild. You belong among the wildflowers. That might work as well. One of these three, I'd say. So stay wild. Doesn't really work here at all. I don't know what I was thinking. You belong among the wildflowers. That would go here. Or make each day magical. Maybe up here. Interesting, I like this one better. I wouldn't have thought so. Okay, this is from another printable. I will link that for you as well. I'll ink it up. Actually, I'm going to try a different color. This is the newest one I bought and I haven't even tried it yet. It's called Peeled Paint. Has a beautifully juicy green color, which I think would go really well with this. So a fresh sponge. Ooh, that is a beautiful like olive color. Oh wow, this is gorgeous. Can you see that? What a gorgeous color. I bought that without ever seeing it in real life, hoping that this was the color it would actually have, and I'm so happy it does. Because you can never tell from the lid what color they actually are. It's oftentimes it is so different. Yes, I like that. I'm just gonna use my glue stick for this. Super happy with that. That would make a nice card too, yeah. But the thing is, what do you do with cards? If you're a junk journaler, you'll put them in your journal anyway, so why not do it right away? I'd say it's time for the book reviews. It makes me so happy that some of you are actually reading the books that I'm reviewing here and you're actually enjoying them, so yay for that. I forgot, I don't know how I forgot, but I forgot to add one of those book pages in the front. So I just stuck one in the back. So this is a template that I have as well, which you can also find linked below. And you can also just write it on a paper without any templates, obviously. So 2 thrillers again. I'm so into thrillers. I'm loving them. This one is by Mary Kubica, or Kubica, I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Local Woman Missing. Let me just read you the synopsis on the back. You'll never find her, don't even try. When a local mother and her 6-year-old daughter, Delilah, suddenly vanish, their close-knit suburban community is rocked by fear and suspicion. How could such a terrible thing have happened in their small town? Then, 11 years later, Delilah shockingly reappears. Everyone wants to know what really happened to her, but there are secrets hidden deep in the past. And when the truth about those missing years begins to surface, no one is prepared for what they're about to find out. So while I was reading this, I was planning on giving it 4.5 stars. But the twist at the end actually pushed it to a 5-star for me. For me, this was a very enjoyable and dark read, and I will most likely be checking out more books by Mary. Apparently, she's also the author of another best-selling book called The Good Girl, which is here on the back, as well as The Other Misses, which might be good as well. So I think I'm going to go ahead and order this one and see how that is, since I really enjoyed this one. And the second book is this one, another B.A. Paris book, who is kind of like my favorite thriller author at the moment, but it's not like I have a lot of comparison because I haven't been reading thrillers for that long yet. So this is a story about a newlywed couple. We have Jack and Grace. Jack has the looks and he's wealthy, and Grace has the charm and elegance. He's a very dedicated and very successful attorney who has never lost a case. And Grace is a flawless homemaker and a master gardener and cook, and dotes to her disabled younger sister. So they seem like a couple who have it all, and you're hopelessly charmed by the ease and comfort of their home, by the graciousness of the dinner parties that they throw, and you'd actually love to get to know Grace a little better, but it's very difficult because you soon realize that Jack and Grace are inseparable. So some people might call this true love. Others might wonder why Grace never answers her phone, or why she can never meet for coffee even though she doesn't even have to go to work. How can she cook such elaborate meals yet she remains so thin? Why does she never seem to take anything with her when she leaves the house, not even something like a pen or a pencil? Why are there such high security metal shutters on all the downstairs windows? Lots of questions here. So this was a very unsettling and chilling vibe, and it was an absolute page turner. I could not put this down. I loved the level of suspense, and the ending felt very, very satisfying. I gave this a 4.5 stars. So I am quickly going to add these two to my list. Whoops, almost colored in that other half, so this is only half. You can't really tell. So these have very faint white stars here as a guide, but I find it helps to trace them first with a pen or a marker before I fill them in. So we're on a good start for June, I'd say. Loving that I added this recipe here. So we have a June welcome page. We need to do something here. I need to find something to put in this tuck spot. I need to do something here and here. Love this. And my first June week spread going up until June 12th. So I will definitely be adding some more fun things to this journal in one of my junk journal snacks in June. And the rest you will see in my Plan With Me July video. So have fun planning in your own planners. Love you guys. Mwah, mwah.